When I was driving to work this morning, I was listening to another radio station, as we broadcasters sometimes do. What I heard shocked and saddened me.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They're here, nerds.
Wait, is this the group that goes around mutilating squirrels?
You just mind your P's and Q's, Buster, and remember who you're dealing with.
Well, at least we found them. Fortuitous, Captain. And now that we have them all together,
you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They make one person go, blah, 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 and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes, blah, 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 blah.
I don't know about you, Jeff, but I feel like that pretty much all the time.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, good morning. Welcome into the last shopping weekend before Christmas. Are you ready?
Oh, I was ready last weekend, buddy.
Yeah, so am I, thankfully. Ryan, how about you?
I'm doing well, Stephen. Yes, I am ready for the Christmas holiday. How are you?
I cannot complain at all. At this point in time, it is the three of us. I have been told David is coming. He's running a little bit late. It's becoming a habit with him.
I know some people, right? You just can't depend on them.
I have a New Year's resolution for David.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Be on time. I don't believe much in New Year's resolutions, to be honest with you. They don't last long.
No, they really don't.
No, not at all. But I'm here to tell you, I actually did one New Year's resolution this year. It was to watch more movies.
Oh.
Success!
Boom! Yeah, that was an easy one to keep.
It was an easy one to keep, no doubt about it. Our friends down at Amstar helped that out as well. And we have got a special edition coming up here of the Entertainment Roundtable. This is what we've been hoping for a while. See, our intrepid boss, the suit, Leland, is taking vacation this week. And he came to me and he said, can you fill Thursday afternoon? And I'm like, okay, day after Christmas. Yeah. And immediately my mind started going, we could do 3-hour entertainment roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
We could do 2-hour entertainment roundtable. We could get fastest hour in radio done, which is probably what we're going to end up doing. So Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock, right here on this very radio station, it is a 2-hour-long entertainment roundtable coming your way.
And there was much rejoicing.
As there should be. Ryan, hopefully you will be able to be a part of it. You are currently checking your schedule. You're thinking you might be traveling.
Yeah, there is a possibility of that, taking a little bit of a trip with the family, but we'll wait and see. Right now it's in the planning stages. Nothing is set in stone just yet.
That's all right. You got a phone. Call us.
Oh, I will do that.
All right, so we are planning on that right now, and that once again will be Thursday. Right here, right now, we got plenty to talk about because, let's face it, there is a lot going on in the movie world, and you can be a part of it as well by checking us out on Twitter at 101 Roundtable or on Facebook, facebook.com/whatever with Steve West. Top 10 movies of the week. Last week, Homefront hanging in there at number 10, 1.7 million, 18.5, not much. On the other hand, the kind of low budget, very critically appraised film, The Book Thief, another 1.7, 14.9. This is a movie that is not in wide release at this point in time. So nice and impressive numbers for that. And the movie in at number 8, Philomena, another 1.8 million, so 11.1 there. Then you get into the disappointments because now we get into the big budget films. Delivery Man, 1.9 million. This thing has made $28.1 million. Vince Vaughn, sorry, your star has fallen, my friend. At least when it comes to this film. I don't know. He may be able to rebound with something next. I don't know.
I think it's going to have to be a collaborative effort.
I think so, too. I'm not so certain he can carry something all by himself.
And he's always better when he has someone they can really work off of.
Yeah, absolutely. To number 6, Out of the Furnace, 2.4 million, 9.6 million in 2 weeks.
And this thing's supposed to be a very, very good film. I haven't seen it. I may not, with everything else on my plate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking this may end up being something that I catch on a free preview weekend or DVD or something like that. Let me ask you this, Ryan. Out of the Furnace, this seems awfully disappointing to me. What are the experts saying?
Yeah, they're saying the exact same thing. They expected this film to do somewhat better numbers than what they already have, with a heavyweight cast such as this, with Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson, Casey Affleck, among others. Yeah, this is a disappointment big time.
And it's only going to get worse. We'll get back to that in just a minute. Thor in at number 5, still hanging in there, 2.8 million, 198.2. So should be, by the end of this weekend, going to jump over $200 million, but I think that's about where it's going to stall out, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, Jeff, a little disappointing for Thor 2?
I mean, I'm not sure what the final numbers were domestically for Thor Part 1, but I think the numbers for Thor 2 are somewhat better than the original.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, these are just, they're not hurting.
No, they're not. I would agree. And they're probably made a profit on this, especially with the overseas money that came in on this. But I even said this. I expected this film to do a lot more.
I actually did too. But I think a lot of people, the first few Marvel movies, people would go back again and again. I mean,
yeah.
I saw, Iron Man. I saw them each a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
This, the last couple, Iron Man 3, I only saw once in the theater.
Yeah.
This one I only saw once. So I guess a little Marvel fatigue. Maybe.
It could be. You might be right. In at number 4, apparently we're not fatigued yet on The Hunger Games Catching Fire. Now, the $13.6 million, $357.5 million, and it just continues to grow. In at number 3, Tyler Perry's Madea Christmas debuts to $16 million, and if anybody says that's a surprise, you really need to go back and look at Tyler Perry's history when it comes to doing Madea films, because this is right about on target.
Yeah, he's consistent. I'll give him that.
Absolutely. The animated Frozen in at number 2, another $22.5 million, $164.8, and debuting at number 1. And tell me about this, Ryan. $73.6 million in the opening weekend. Granted, not a holiday weekend, not a 3-day weekend, none of that, but $73.6 million for a film that's the second in a highly touted series, even if the first one was a little bit disappointing, seems like a low number to me.
Well, it is a success. I mean, it is a good chunk of change. I mean, no one's going to lose any sleep over $73 million. Let me tell you something, buddy. But at the same time, this is about 10, 11 or so million less than the debut weekend of the original Hobbit. So, yeah, the numbers aren't looking so good.
And I said this, and again, kind of like Hunger Games Catching Fire, I don't think it was a better film by leaps and bounds, but I think Catching Fire was a little bit better than the original Hunger Games. I think Desolation of Smaug is a better film than The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Not by leaps and bounds, but just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read something the other day online about how some people are feeling, because we've had some terrible, terrible weather across large parts of the country.
That's true, too, yeah.
That they feel that probably impacted a lot as well.
That could be.
So,
and this weekend, not really down here. We've been talked about it yesterday when we were doing the news on the Michael Hart Show. National Weather Service is claiming that tonight, midnight to 6 a.m. in the southeastern part of the country, we in Alabama need to be on watch for severe weather, which could include tornadic activity. And I know that there are snowstorms that are up in different parts of the country right now. It kind of makes you wonder.
It does, and not to get too deep into it, but let's do that for a second.
Sure.
Not to mention the fact, maybe it's all part of the bigger picture with the economy and it being the holidays this time. Maybe more people, their budget's tighter, so maybe Christmas is sort of leaving, edging out other things like, say, a night at the movies.
Yeah, going to the movies. And then I think that there's another part of this. This year, and feel free to interrupt me if you think that I'm way off track here, but this year, 2013, has really been one big year. I mean, yeah, we're looking at 2015 and thinking of all the big titles that are coming out, but 2013 has been no piker when it comes to having big titles come out. Did we blow our entertainment budget a little earlier this year?
That's possible.
Ryan, what do you think?
That's actually a really intriguing question. I think part of me thinks yes, the other part of me thinks no, but let's not forget. You want to talk about the number of 13 being lucky? I would say 2013 has been a very great year / lucky year because, granted, we've had sequel after sequel after sequel, but they're building and they're getting more traction. They're getting more audience. They're making more money. So overall, the movie business has got to put a big smile on their face because they made just a tad bit more than I think last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that they're hurting, but I think, we're kind of seeing a bit of a slowdown here. But then again, you may be right, Jeff. It may be weather-induced, and we'll see how this weekend goes as we have 2 films. One, family-ish kind. Walking with Dinosaurs 3D may grab some family attention. The voices of John Leguizamo, Justin Long, and others about a small dinosaur who grows up to be the leader of his pack. And then you get a comedy, and I mean, you've got Delivery Man out there. You got Tyler Perry's Madea Christmas, but let's face it, Ron Burgundy returning. does seem to have some sort of an attraction to some people. Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. You got Will Ferrell, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, and others. San Diego's top-rated newsman moving on to a fledgling cable news network as the 70s turn into the 1980s. This is a film that is on my radar because, after all, I'm in the business and I'm not expecting this to be a great film. I'm expecting it to be a good performer. I'm not expecting it to be a great film. I don't expect to come back and give you rave reviews and go, oh my God, it's the best comedy I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I wet myself twice.
Yeah, I don't expect to do that. But what I am expecting is kind of like the original Anchorman. I'm expecting there to be a lot of catchphrases, which we will be quoting for some time.
Well, it's getting good traction on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh, yeah? What's the rating?
I believe last time I checked it was like 74%.
That's pretty high when you consider this could be considered one of those stupid comedies.
Yeah, exactly. Raunchy, yeah.
Yeah, definitely raunchy. I'm sure that there will be words spoken on that, and it will be something we'll have for you come Thursday, because I'm going to see it this weekend.
There you have it.
Steve is throwing it down.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to see that, and I'm going to see a movie that, Ryan, you have actually seen already. Tom Hanks, Emma Thompson, and others, Saving Mr. Banks. So instead of waiting on that, let's go ahead and get your review on it, because it's been in limited release. That's why I didn't mention it in the top 10. It's been in limited release this weekend, last weekend, goes into wide release this weekend. What's your thoughts on the tale of how Disney got a hold of the rights to Mary Poppins?
Well, I think Saving Mr. Banks is one of the better films we've seen all year. I think it's one of the best films of the season. Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson are at the top of their game. The cast, the supporting cast, if you will, is very, very good. They're awesome. They are incredible. So overall, I'd probably give Saving Mr. Banks a 7 out of 10. I liked the story that they were telling. I liked how they, especially Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, because I didn't grow up seeing Walt Disney commercials as a kid. Let's face facts. But when I see Tom Hanks, I'm like, you know what? I see this. I can see this happening in some way, shape, or form. So great film, great tone, good. The flashbacks that you will see in this film during the course of it are really well done, but they're very emotional, though. It's going to hit you right in the heart. It is going to tug at your heartstrings a little bit, but overall, 7 out of 10 for Saving Mr. Banks.
Okay, looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll be able to check that out this weekend. Myself and our good friend Jacob went and checked out the movie American Hustle last night, another one of those films that was in limited release last week, goes into wide release this weekend. And Jacob raves about this. He came out of it, and I asked him what his rating was. He said 9.5. He is a fan. This I will warn you about, though. If you're going to go see American Hustle, you need to give yourself some time. This thing is on the plus side of 2.5 hours long. Here's the deal. Doesn't really feel like it. It does slow down in some places, but it's just a setup for the next part. It's kind of like that roller coaster where you come up the hill and you flatten out for a little while just before they drop you down on the next hill. It's kind of like that. Very good film. Really enjoyed it. Nice little plot twist by David O. Russell. A lot of great acting job by all the lead characters, and a nice cameo appearance by Robert De Niro. Really cool stuff in there. I'm not going to go so far as to give it a 9.5, but I will say it's one of the better films of the year. I will give it a solid 9, with the caveat of if your ears are sensitive to certain cuss words, your ears will get raped.
Well, this movie is on my radar. I'm going to see it this weekend.
You have some interest in seeing this, Jeff.
I do. But once again, it's like, God,
I know.
So
everything's stacking up out there, isn't it?
I'm so behind.
And David is now in, and this is something that we had talked about you possibly going to. Are you interested in this film?
I'm definitely interested in seeing that, but I really wanted to go last night. I just couldn't get around to it.
Just couldn't quite make it there, but that's okay. When we can get you in there, you'll be more than welcome to review it right here on the show.
Yeah.
So Ryan wants to see it, Jeff wants to see it, David wants to see it. I am telling you right now, it is worth going to see. Just make sure that you understand that there's some language in there. Big time. Out in limited release this weekend, if you're so interested in talk about a movie that's getting awards talk, the movie Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Adams, Rooney Mara, Olivia Wilde, is about a man in the near future who makes his living writing personal letters for others, but he falls in love with a computer voice, which is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. She doesn't even appear in the film, only her voice, and she's getting buzz in the awards if they actually allow her to be nominated.
That would be kind of an interesting little, almost ironic twist to it, right? I mean, it's about a guy who falls in love with her voice, and her to get a nomination because of her voice performance.
Yeah, I think it's great. We saw the preview for it last night in front of the movie American Hustle, and watching it even more, I'm a little more intrigued about it. The problem is, again, it's in limited release. You're going to have to dig around and try to find it.
It does sound interesting.
It does. 3 other films, probably not really all that big on. One's called Doom 3, and it's spelled D-H-O-O-M. It looks to be one of the Bollywood films. The Past and The Selfish Giant are also out there. Coming out over the next week, Christmas Day. 4 films come out on that day. The Wolf of Wall Street, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, 47 Ronin, and one that I don't care about, Justin Bieber's Believe. But they're all out on Christmas Day. And I've already talked to our friend down there at Amstar, and you're talking about those films, the films that came out in wide release this week, and plus you've got still some monsters like The Hunger Games and The Hobbit and all that kind of stuff, and he's scrambling to try and make sure that he gets them. So a lot of these films that we've talked about here, they're going to go bye-bye.
And here's what they're not considering, putting all those movies out on Christmas Day. Matt Smith's last episode of Doctor Who comes out that day. They're not going to make any money.
That's why they make DVRs, man. And next weekend, Grudge Match, August Osage County, which, by the way, will be one of those minor releases. You got other films called Labor Day, One Chance. They'll all come out next weekend as well. We got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into some movie news, and these will be kind of short because I have a roundtable topic here about top 10 movies of the year. We're going to get into our own top 10 coming up on Thursday. I want to get your opinion, without giving away your top 10 from Thursday, as to whether you agree or disagree. And we've got a best, and we've got a worst top 10 as well. So we'll see where we agree and disagree a little bit later on in the Entertainment Roundtable.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
Welcome back in, listening to the Entertainment Roundtable here at Superstation 101 WYDE, and I'm going to give this to Jeff. I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count as to what soundtrack this song comes off of.
I'm going to go with that movie about the hustling.
Actually, you're wrong.
Really?
Anchorman 2.
Oh, man.
That was a good guess, though, because American Hustle is set in 1978, so it could have been in that, and that is a good soundtrack. But, yeah, this comes off of the soundtrack to Anchorman 2, Thunder Island.
That doesn't make sense.
Speaking of coming off the soundtrack. All right, here we go. And we're going to start it off real quick. Superhero portion of the show. Why wait, right? Ryan, how about the long-rumored casting of the movie Ant-Man? You've learned something. What are you hearing?
We know who Dr. Hank Pym / Ant-Man is going to be played by. It's going to be played by none other than, speaking of Anchorman, Paul Rudd himself has landed the role for Marvel's Ant-Man. It's going to be directed by Edgar Wright. It's going to hit theaters everywhere on July the 31st, 2015. Feel free to mark your calendar.
Quick go around the table. Good move, bad move, Ryan?
I think it was way out of left field, but I don't know enough about this character to fully judge, so I'm on board. Let's see what happens.
David?
I'm so excited.
Jeff?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Gotcha. Our good friend Jacob sent me a link where X-Men Days of Future Past director Bryan Singer has let us in on more information about the follow-up to the film. We talked about it last week. He entitled it X-Men Apocalypse, which, by the way, the studio is still not confirming. Apparently, Singer's tweeted that the writers for X-Men United, X2, are back in for it. Anyone see that?
I did see that.
Yeah? All right. Let's kind of go around the table real quick. Big news, little news, happy, sad, what?
I'm on the fence.
Yeah?
Yeah. X-Men 2 was kind of boring in places. So
okay, I've heard other people say that was the best film in the series.
It probably
so
was.
They're really excited about that. Jeff, what do you think?
I think that's good news, but I'm still, before I get too pumped up about it, I actually want to see if Days of Future Past is any good.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that so much news is coming out about the movie that didn't come out until when, Ryan? 2016?
For Apocalypse? Yeah, 2016, yeah.
And so we're getting so excited about that, and we haven't even seen Days of Future Past yet.
Yeah, if Jackman doesn't come back after this one, I won't care.
Yeah. Ryan, anything on these writers, or is it just way too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. I'm neutral. Let's see what Days of Future Past gives us, and then we'll talk about the rest later.
Sounds good. Over to Batman versus Superman. David, been hearing a lot of names linked to being a villain possibly in the film. Who's the latest? This one apparently possibly linked to Lex Luthor?
Yes, sir. Ye old rumor mill says that Joaquin Phoenix is being pursued for the role.
Joaquin Phoenix, who, by the way, could be seen, if you can find it, in the movie Her this weekend. I could see him pulling off a villain.
Oh, he could.
Well, yeah, I've seen Gladiator.
That's true, too. Ryan?
I think right now, I'm just glad this is a rumor because Joaquin Phoenix, no, don't want to see him in Lex Luthor, don't want to see him in any of these films, get him away from me, I don't want to see him. Plus, Billy Zane for Lex Luthor, bring it.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay. That's an interesting thought. And we're kind of moving through this quick because I want to get to that roundtable topic, which I think we can make probably the vast majority of the last segment of this particular show. Neil Gaiman's graphic novel, Sandman, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that done, or am I thinking of a different one on like HBO or Showtime at some point in time recently?
It has never been on any screen. No.
Then what is it that I'm thinking of that went on HBO or Showtime?
I don't.
And this was many years ago, like probably 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
Oh.
I have no idea. I have just totally blanked on that then. But either way, apparently the graphic novel Sandman, long been rumored to be coming to the big screen. David, appears it will be?
Yeah, David Goyer and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are going to be producing. It is unclear at this point whether or not Joseph Gordon-Levitt will be playing in the movie or directing. That's sort of part of the rumor, though. In his tweet, when he confirmed it, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, though, put hashtag Prelude, which sort of insinuates they're going to be doing the Preludes and Nocturne storyline. But
which is really about the most straightforward storyline of the entire run of comics.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only place you could start.
Start to kind of wade in carefully and then see how it's accepted and then try and go in a little bit deeper.
Yeah, but...
Because I would imagine they would think there's a lot of story material here because Sandman's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of story material that it could go with, but I think they want to try and get introduced to the characters first before you really just throw them in there and get way too deep, I would think.
Yeah, this thing, after this first storyline, I mean, it opened up. I mean, it got huge.
Yeah.
It is a very complicated series with a lot of characters and mythology and...
Okay.
And Neil Gaiman is working on it with them.
I saw that. I'm excited.
That's so great.
See, that'll help.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I hope so.
All right, Ryan, let's go to you. Tell me about a film entitled 3 Days to Kill. All I know is this stars Kevin Costner, and I did watch the trailer that you gave me a link to. There's a little bit of Taken, a little bit of Bourne, maybe a little bit of Jack Ryan, and I find that part of it interesting because Kevin Costner is appearing in the film coming out next week, which is about Jack Ryan, even though it's not a Tom Clancy-based novel turned into a film. But either way, tell me about 3 Days to Kill.
Sure, like you said, stars Kevin Costner, named Ethan, speaking of international spies, trying to ditch his work. He's going to try to reconnect with his family, played by Connie Nielsen, who plays his wife, Haley Steinfeld from True Grit, who plays his daughter, and Amber Heard, who plays his boss, trying to keep him in the business of working for the agency. By poisoning him, he has only 3 days to find an antidote and to kill the last of his remaining targets before he can go home and live happily ever after with his family. It's going to open up in theaters everywhere on February the 21st, 2014. I buy this. I want to see it.
When is it supposed to open?
February 21st of 2014.
So that's a month after the Jack Ryan film comes out.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a lot of action with Kevin Costner in it in a very short period of time. But watching it, it looks interesting. So I'll probably end up checking it out, too. All right, let's go over to some reboots here. We talked about this last week. Producers apparently looking to restart the Terminator film series. Ryan, you say they found their Sarah Connor. Who and where might we have seen her before?
From Game of Thrones, you got Emilia Clarke, who is going to take on the role of the new Sarah Connor in the new Terminator film known as a reboot. She joins Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is scheduled to make a cameo appearance. It's going to hit theaters everywhere on July the 2nd, 2015, directed by Thor's own Alan Taylor.
Yay, nay?
I've been nay since the very beginning, if not after Terminator Salvation. That mythology is dead. It's gone. It's done. Let it go.
Jeff?
Interesting wrinkle. Alan Taylor also directed what? An episode or 3 of Game of Thrones. So they may have worked together. At the same time, Terminator, I'm not sure if it's got legs anymore. We'll see. If they make a good film.
And this isn't James Cameron. That's the other thing about it. When James Cameron bowed out after Terminator 2, everything kind of went down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have to see more. I'll wait for a trailer, but I'm not overly confident yet in this reboot. You, David?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I kind of thought so. How about another trailer? This one for the upcoming Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell film, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Ryan, what did you think?
I thought it was very good, and I can't wait to see it hit theaters everywhere on July 11th of 2014.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I liked it.
I don't care about the Planet of the Apes somehow. I don't Heston.
Never got into the Dawn of the Planet. Or
I liked
Planet
the first one. The first one. The
very, very first one.
Yeah, that Rod
Going
Serling.
way back to Charlton Heston and
the
everything.
one that Rod Serling scripted.
Did you see Rise? Did you see Rise of?
Rise of is actually
I couldn't get into it.
It's
like,
actually
I
a
tried
pretty good
to,
film.
but I couldn't.
It is really. I kind of went into it like, we'll see. But it is actually a really good movie, man.
All right. We saw this before in the trailers leading up to The Hobbit. The movie Interstellar comes out, and I've read about this film.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds interesting, and then the preview showed up for it, and I went, I have no idea what the film's about. You didn't tell me anything. Ryan, tell me what you know of this film and the trailer.
Well, other than the fact that Interstellar is going to be directed by one of the best directors in the history of mankind, known as Chris Nolan, I mean, you got Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Michael Caine, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck. It's going to hit theaters everywhere on November the 7th of 2014. Basically, it's about scientists getting the space program back on its feet and flying into outer space and exploring new territory. I say just bring it and make sure it's an IMAX.
Oh, I'm interested, but at the same time, I love the preview. It harkens back to the days when a teaser teased. Instead of like, here is all three acts of the film in 2 minutes.
Well, and no, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for that. I was looking for something that actually told me what the film was about. All we got was, we've kind of lost our ability to go and search. And it was a bunch of older shots. And I'm, okay, if I hadn't read about the film, I'd be walking out of that going, what the heck did I just see?
I like the trailer. I thought it's one of the better teaser trailers we've seen in a long time.
Well, other than the fact that it's directed by the most overrated director of all time, I think this trailer basically could have been the teaser for any movie ever. Like, I have no idea what's going on, and I don't care.
So we got two people who say that it's great, two people that are going,
Well, its title is Interstellar, which
it sure
has a meaning, and then it's got a monologue about space travel.
It sure did look pretty.
It did. It was a well done.
Plus, it's got Matthew McConaughey sitting there talking about that stuff.
It really could have been a teaser for the reboot of Andy Griffith's show.
We've lost our ability to keep one bullet in our pocket.
Andy Griffith in space.
Shazam.
I remember a time we never had to whip a boy, just talk to him for about 2 minutes and he'd get the message.
Yes, back when we could fix the world in 28 minutes, including commercials, 25 minutes. All right, here we go. A set of films that is set to come out soon. This is another set of films based upon books aimed at young adults turned into a film series. It's Divergent. They have a director news that kind of parallels Hunger Games. Ryan, what's going on?
Yes, Summon Entertainment is now looking for a new director because the director of the film, Neil Berger, who also directed Limitless, is not going to be returning for the Divergent sequel, which opens up on March 21st of next year in IMAX, because they need a director for Insurgent and Allegiant, which are the two sequels to the original book, so you better start looking.
I'm available.
Oh.
So am I. I'll do it.
Sure, why not? I have to admit, this is something I'm going to have to catch up on if I plan on going to seeing the films, I guess. I haven't read the books. Anybody?
No, I never read them.
No? Okay. All right, then. Moving on. Ryan, what's going on over at Miramax? Apparently they've kissed and made up with the Weinstein, so what is that going to mean for movie releases?
Well, it means there's no creativity left with the Weinsteins in Hollywood because we're going to get sequels to, get this, Shakespeare in Love and Rounders.
So Shakespeare Out of Love and Squares.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want sequels to either one of those.
Not really. I've seen Rounders. I pretty much figured it wrapped everything up, and I don't understand Shakespeare, so I've never seen Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any film that's begging for a continuation of the story, it is Rounders.
Is it really?
No. That's the one about card playing, right?
Card playing with Matt Damon.
And is Edward Norton?
Edward Norton, yeah.
John Malkovich, yeah.
I saw it once and immediately forgot it.
I saw it once, and as I remember the film, it wrapped all the storylines up, and it just doesn't need a... Okay, yeah, whatever, Weinsteins. All right, here we go, real quick. What kind of time frame are we looking at here?
Coming up on 13.
Oh, we got time. We'll move right into TV. How shall we? After all, I'm the one driving the show. Not much, really, to nothing, because let's face it, next Tuesday is Christmas Eve. So coming out on DVD, not one TV series comes out for ability to buy. Yay. But you could go and buy Insidious Chapter 2. Nothing says Merry Christmas like popping in the DVD of Insidious Chapter 2. Or you could get a movie called More Than Honey, which I think is really more of a documentary about bees.
Oh. Is it in video?
Yeah.
Okay, I never heard of it.
Exactly, neither had I. All right, David, we're going to move over to the TV segment, and we're going to start with you and NBC's hit show Hannibal. Been off the air for some time. Has the network announced the second season premiere yet?
They have. It is moving to Fridays. The Brian Fuller series will return to NBC February 28th at 10 following Grimm.
What?
All right. Let me ask you this. You have found something dealing with Simon Pegg connected with Monty Python. Is that TV or is that movie or is that like a tour?
That's movie.
Okay, let's go back to that real quick because Simon Pegg is funny. Monty Python, I love. Putting the two together, I'm already in.
Yeah, Simon Pegg and Robin Williams have signed on to star in the sci-fi comedy Absolutely Anything, directed by Monty Python founding member Terry Jones. Pegg will play Neil Clark, a teacher who is given magical powers by friendly aliens voiced by Terry Jones, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, and Michael Palin. Robin Williams will play the voice of Clark's dog.
Okay, yeah. Just for the sheer, probably stupidity of it, I will check it out because that sounds like typical Monty Python right there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, can't wait. All right, David. You've heard about a new version of an old comedy show. It's called The Odd Couple. Apparently somebody wants to reboot it.
Well, let's hold off for a second because The Odd Couple already started out as a 65 Neil Simon play about a pair of divorced New Yorkers played by Walter Matthau and Art Carney. Then it became a 67 movie with Matthau and Lemon, then a 1970s sitcom on ABC with Tony Randall and Jack Klugman.
Great show, by the way.
Remade again in the 1982 The New Odd Couple, starring Ron Glass and Desmond Wilson.
Not as good.
So, no, it really wasn't. But
it was kind of like MASH going to After MASH. No.
My point is this franchise has known remakes over and over and over, so why not Matthew Perry?
Matthew Perry in The Odd Couple.
He wants to play Oscar. If you know what, I'm in if they get Matt LeBlanc to come in and play his opposite.
That would be cool.
It would be a complete role reversal from Friends.
Yeah, it would be.
I would totally watch that. I'm going to watch it anyway because it's Matthew Perry.
This hasn't been picked up by a network, though, has it?
It's CBS.
Really?
Yes, sir.
CBS is already in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Speaking of redos, Ryan, let's go back to the Weinsteins here because apparently, in addition to talking to Miramax about doing a couple of movie re-releases, they want to remake a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Oscar-winning film into a TV show?
Yes, they are going to try to make Good Will Hunting into a television adaptation, and I don't know if Matt or Ben are going to be involved in any way, shape, or form. Quite frankly, I don't care because, once again, no creativity left in Hollywood. It's one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard in my life.
Has this been picked up, or is this just in the talking stages?
Right now, it's being planned. Nothing has been greenlit as of yet.
I don't see how you can make this into a TV show.
How do you like them apples?
Again, I look at the movie, all the plot lines pretty well got wrapped up. Where are you going to go? I mean, you're going to follow him out to Stanford?
I did want to see Matt Damon reunite with Minnie Driver, but there wasn't that deleted scene on the DVD, I don't think.
I think it was pretty much understood that was what he was going out there to do and probably was going to make it work, so where are we going to go?
Yeah, I mean, you want to see that, you want to leave it on that happy ending note. You don't actually want to follow him and realize that he's going to have an unhappy marriage because he's way smarter than her.
That's right, Chief.
She's like, why are you so arrogant? And he's like, because I'm smarter than you.
It's not my fault.
He's like calling up Robin Williams. Help me, Robin Williams.
It's not my fault, you know.
I'm smart.
I've been assured it's not my fault. It must be you.
Oh, this is not good. Daniel, our good friend and listener, let me know that the premium channel Showtime's renewed the original series episodes for fourth season. You mentioned Friends alum Matt LeBlanc just a couple of minutes ago. He's the star of that show. Apparently, that's a fictionalized version of himself in Hollywood.
Right.
Which I kind of thought that he did with the really bad show called Joey, but this one's actually gotten good reviews as opposed to Joey, which was horrible.
Yeah, and it's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm with Matt LeBlanc.
Which is probably why it's taken off. Comedy Central likes the Tosh.0 comedy series enough. Our listener Daniel let me know that the network ordered 3 more seasons of it, so that'll be on the air through 2016. And David, recently talked about the movie reboot of the Terminator. Apparently, they're thinking of a TV version.
They
and
are.
I know that this goes back to a little bit of last week's stuff, but with the movie version out there, which they've cast their Sarah Connor, is this like the remake of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, or is this trying to actually make a TV show out of the Terminator?
Well, from what I remember, they actually got the Sarah Connor Chronicles writers to come back and do another. I don't know. It sounds stupid. I don't want them to do it. I don't see where they're gonna go
I
don't care.
It could be kind of interesting if they like did different alternate timelines, one for the TV show, one for the film. You know,
Well, that's
depending
basically
on what happened.
they've been doing anyway.
Well, keep it up then, buddy.
But if they actually if it's the same writers, and they come in and actually explain what happened at the end of Sarah Connor Chronicles, then maybe. But
is that possible to explain what happened at the end of Sarah Connor Chronicles?
It ended on a cliffhanger.
That's what I'm saying. Is it possible to explain it?
Because
the show wasn't. I wasn't really all that impressed with the show. It had ups and it's kind of like watching Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It has its ups, but it has a whole lot of downs, and it's extremely inconsistent. And by the time it got around to the cliffhanger, I was done.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Anything there, Ryan, or no?
I have no interest in this TV, much less movie product. And Jeff, why are you so optimistic about these dumb ideas when we're trying to be realistic?
I don't know. I guess because living in a constant state of annoyance was bad for my health.
Well, and I think that there's a little bit of sarcasm in there, too.
A little bit.
I'm not trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be apathetic.
And you're doing a fantastic bang-up job of it. Coming back, we're going to talk about...
You say so.
We're going to talk about what's going on in the movie world from 2013. A couple of different people's idea of the 10 best films of 2013 and one person's idea of the 10 worst films of 2013. We'll see whether this panel agrees when we come back to the fastest... No, excuse me. We're on the Entertainment Roundtable. Fastest Hour in Radio is next.
Hope you got your popcorn, because we're back to the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
And I couldn't resist. Had to go to the classic Odd Couple theme song if you're going to talk about the Odd Couple.
How could you help but do?
Absolutely. All right, welcome back here as we move on to our roundtable topic here. And again, we're going to expound upon this coming up on Thursday when we're going to be on the air live from 4 until 7 p.m. We're going to do a 2-hour entertainment roundtable from 4 to 6. And your homework, should you choose to accept it, and I pray that you do because it will come to you, as to what you consider your best films that you have seen in 2013. I'm going to ask you. If you come home with an incomplete, that's your fault. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to ask you personally what you think are your best films.
Sorry,
and
Steve,
your worst films.
the dog ate my opinion.
Uh-huh. You apathetic person, you. But that said, a couple of people have already chimed in here on the list of best and worst. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with worst, or we want to start with best?
Oh, let's do worst.
Jeff goes worst. David?
We can do that.
All right. Ryan, you in agreement?
Yeah, bad news first.
All right, bad news coming your way. Yahoo Movies writer Kevin Palawi says that these are his top 10 worst movies of 2013. In at number 10, The Hangover Part 3.
I can't comment on that one.
I've not seen it.
I didn't see it.
And from everybody who I've heard of that says that they did see it, they say that, yeah, they would probably agree. In at number 9, Old Boy. This was a film that we were actually initially excited about during the summertime, Jeff.
Right, yes.
And then as we got closer and closer, we realized this is probably a bomb. And it has been.
Yeah, it's just word of mouth was terrible. I don't know. Spike Lee wasn't happy with the cut, from what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Up to number 8, the Adam Sandler film Grown Ups 2.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too. In at number 7, this would be the fan-supported film that starred Lindsay Lohan called The Canyons.
What fans supported this thing?
It was one of those things. There's some website that you can go on
Kickstarter?
there. Yeah, thank you. It's a Kickstarter-financed film.
Sad.
And now we know why. They didn't get enough money to get anybody real. In at number 6, Machete Kills.
That should be stricken from the list. Those are supposed to be bad.
Right.
In at number 5, this was a film that you actually went and saw very early this year, Ryan. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Actually, quite enjoyed that.
So you disagree that this is one of the worst films of the year?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. In at number 4, The Lone Ranger.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah? I have heard some people, and I have not seen this film, okay, but I've heard some people say that now that they've gone back and actually taken a second look at it, it's better than what they thought the first time around.
Don't waste your time watching it, though.
Okay. In at number 3, Will Smith and his son in After Earth.
See, I'll probably end up giving that one a look at some point. Just
at some point in time, yeah, I am going to watch this film.
Same thing. I've heard some people vehemently deny that it's a bad movie. No, this was what they were going for. Okay.
In at number 2, all-star cast in kind of a disjointed comedy called Movie 43.
I haven't heard anyone say that was good.
I haven't heard anyone talk about this film, which
Really?
is not good. Because if nobody's talking about your film, good or bad, that means nobody knows what the heck we're talking about. Go ahead, look it up, Movie 43. You'll probably freak out about how many stars are actually in this film.
Yeah, I remember the trailer.
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
And how terrible it looked.
And in at number 1, round number 5 for Lieutenant John McClane.
A
Good Day to Die Hard.
You know, I don't think that should count for 2013 even.
Why?
I mean, I know it came out in 2013, but you know how, like, in decades, like, the latter part of the 70s was kind of the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. That was kind of a 2012 film.
We were really talking about it a lot in 2000. But then again, we were also talking a lot about Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in 2012, too. You're doing anything just to kind of make, justify this or argue with it?
Sure. No, I'm not. I don't really care. Yeah, it was kind of a bad movie, but they all are.
Yeah.
That's what you go to those for.
Wait a second. No, they're not all kind of bad movies.
Last I remember you hadn't seen any of them in like forever.
Maybe since the original, because the first one is a masterpiece of action cinema.
It's a masterpiece of bad cinema.
No, it's not.
It is my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
There you go.
Well, that's a fine thing.
It's not bad cinema.
It's still a bad movie.
No, it's not.
It's action schlock. And that's what it's supposed to be. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong.
Where's apathetic David? I want him back.
Yeah, really. Can we just get to the person who didn't care anymore?
Wait. I love the original Die Hard. It's a great movie, but it's a bad movie. Why can't you just
How is it a
accept
bad
that
movie?
It's a bad movie? Fire hose, explosion, jumping off of a building.
It's not bad. It's awesome.
How about a German who has an English accent?
Let me ask you this question. What part of Die Hard did anyone say was going to be ultimately believable?
But it's a bad movie.
I don't know. I wasn't too big of a fan of the original, to be honest.
Well, you're a fool. But it's
well, Ryan, you're not a child of the 80s like we are.
Right. I mean, because it was.
You had to have grown up at a time when these kind of films were ubiquitous and Die Hard actually kind of stood out.
Right. Because you brought this guy from this romantic comedy TV show, and all of a sudden he's,
Yeah, he became a guy who came out and whipped butt.
Yeah, and that's brilliant.
Curling his toes on the carpet.
Fist with your toes.
But it's sort of like that shoot 'em up concept. I mean, if you look at it like that, especially, you look at the guy that comes from the sitcom and suddenly he's an action star. How could this not have been meant to be a comedy?
It was funny in places.
Right.
And it was meant to be.
He had really good comedic timing in that movie.
Yes, he did. He did.
It was a bad
Unfortunately, everyone says that on this one, A Good Day to Die Hard, he just kind of sleptwalked.
If you're not part of the solution, David, you're part of the problem.
All right, let me ask this question.
Because I still love it.
I know, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I have not seen this version, Good Day to Die Hard. Has any of us seen
I've
this?
seen it.
You have?
Yeah.
And?
Of course. I went out like the opening weekend.
And?
I mean, it was ridiculous, but it wasn't any more ridiculous than any of the others.
Okay, so you don't think it was just that much worse than anything else. Among the films that you have seen this year, would you rate it the worst?
No, not by a long shot. I wouldn't rate it the worst.
Okay. You seen it, Jeff?
No, it's the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah, so far this is the only one I haven't seen either. Ryan, did you see this?
Yes, I did. I saw it opening weekend.
And?
I thought it was okay, but it wasn't McClane's best hour. Let's just put it that way.
Worst film you saw this year?
I wouldn't say worst. It was just one of my least favorite films. Worst film for me this year has got to be The Lone Ranger.
Okay. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. So, listening to that list, is there a film that you saw this year that belongs on that list? And I can already tell you, I don't care which one you drop off, I'm throwing Elysium in there. I hated that film with a passion. That was a horrible, horrible film. I mean, you were talking earlier about a German man with an English accent.
Yeah.
Inexplicably, at the beginning of the film, everybody either has a French accent or a Spanish accent, and none of them can keep them.
Right.
And that just went downhill from there. So, again, the question goes out there. Is there a film that you have seen this year that you think belongs on this top 10 worst list?
I got to be honest. I had a pretty good year.
You know what?
I don't really have a worst. I have a least good.
All right, well, let's go there. I mean, if is it not on the list?
I kind of liked it, but I think The Family should be there before that Die Hard movie.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you put The Family on the worst. All right. Ryan, anything come to mind?
I don't know if I would classify this film particularly as a worst film, but it was one of my least favorite films with Disney's Frozen.
I could see that.
Why isn't Planes on this list?
Oh, yeah, Planes should be there.
I see. I haven't seen Planes, but I could easily put the movie Turbo on that list.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't that on there?
I could easily see the movie Turbo being on that list. All right, Jeff.
R.I.P.D.
We're up to you, man. We're up to you. Got to come up with a least favorite.
Come on, Jeff. Come on.
I know the debate just rolls, man.
No, I'm just trying to think of something that I really didn't enjoy or what I enjoyed the least. Because, like I said, I had a pretty good run this year. I haven't seen anything I didn't like.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good stuff out there this year. There's no doubt about it.
World War Z. It was just
really.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just a mediocre film. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just sort of there. Or maybe Oblivion. How about Oblivion? We'll throw Oblivion in there.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I remember you kind of painting Oblivion. You didn't say it was the worst film that you had
right.
seen at the time.
It's a
Do you remember
serviceable.
what you rated it as?
Yeah, probably a 5 or something. I mean, it's very middle of the road.
It's kind of middling.
Yeah.
And you could probably say the exact same thing about World War Z.
Right. Yeah. It's got some good parts, but it's not something that I'm gonna revisit on a monthly basis.
Can I just say really quickly
Please
that Live Free or Die Hard was truer to the source material than Man of Steel was.
That's a debate for another time, boy.
Yeah, that would be.
That's all I'm saying.
That is interesting. All right, let's flip over here. We dealt with Yahoo Movies, one particular writer's opinion. Yahoo Movies staff, they posted their top 10 of the year. Ryan, you're not going to be happy with this. In at number 10, Frozen. They think that's one of the best. And I have said this right here on this radio station. Artistically, it is a beautiful film. The plot sucked.
Style over substance wins again.
Apparently, but they liked it over there. In at number 9, never heard of this film. Short Term 12?
Never heard of it either.
Never heard of it.
Anybody?
Bueller?
No.
Yeah. In at number 8, a movie that's out in limited release right now, Inside Llewyn Davis. I have heard this is getting a lot of critical acclaim, but I don't know where it's playing.
It's not here yet, but that's Coen Brothers. I'll definitely be seeing that one.
Yeah, I'll see it.
John Goodman?
John Goodman,
Of
yes.
course. In at number 7, Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
I would have ranked that a lot higher.
I think it's ranked well if you consider the rest of the movies throughout the year.
Okay. Jeff, you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I can't comment.
Not yet. In at number 6, the limited release film, Her. It has been getting a lot of critical acclaim as well. Again, mentioned it earlier on. Even Scarlett Johansson, whose face is not seen in the film, only her voice is heard, is getting Oscar or award buzz.
How do you put ScarJo in a movie and not show her?
Kind of a difficult
Spike
one
Jones,
for me.
man. He's got his quirks.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
In at number 5, Matthew McConaughey's Dallas Buyers Club. I've heard a lot of good things about this too.
I've never heard of it.
In at number 4, the just about ready to come out Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio and more. This is a film that's on my radar.
Oh, it's on my radar too.
In at number 3, just watched it, gave it high reviews. Jacob gave it a 9.5. I gave it a 9, American Hustle. I do suggest you go see it. In at number 2, Gravity. Sandra Bullock, George Clooney.
Love that movie.
I still need to see it.
What was better than Gravity? What? Number 2?
Yeah.
Hang on, wait.
All right.
Let me think about this
Jeff's
for just a
thinking.
second.
Anybody
What
want to make it? And I know you've got the list, by the way, Ryan, so don't cheat.
It's got to be something pretentious.
I haven't seen the list.
Oh, I know what it is. It starts with the number 12.
You think?
I was going to go for The Butler. That's what they would say.
Butler is not on the
slave.
list. 12 Years a Slave is on the list. And that has been getting a lot of critical buzz. Strangely enough, though, it got shut out of the Golden Globes.
That's a shame. I need to see this thing.
Apparently I do too, but I don't know where it is.
I want to know where Pacific Rim is on that list.
It is not, but it is not on the worst of 2013 either, so.
Neither was Man of Steel, Dave.
There you
Yay! Suck it, Nolan.
Oh, good grief. Post-editing. You are so fun. Ryan gave me a list of IMDb.com. Now this, as opposed to Yahoo or the guy, just their opinion, IMDb allows us, the people, to go and rate what they feel are the best films of the year 2013. And they give them ratings based like we do on a 1 to 10 scale, or stars, if you will. They say in at number 10, Despicable Me 2. I've seen the film. It's a very good film.
I haven't seen it.
I'm not going to give away anything.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm sure I will eventually because my nephews love the first one.
It actually is a very good film. I liked it just as much as I liked the first one. In at number 9, The Conjuring.
I agree with that.
That was a good horror movie.
In at number 8, Thor, The Dark World. Again, remember, this is people going on to IMDb.com and rating it themselves.
Gotcha.
This will be a lot more like the People's Choice Awards as opposed to the Oscars or the Emmys or the Academy, or any of those. This is us, we the people, choosing this.
Thor was a fun movie.
In at number 7, Star Trek Into Darkness.
I like that movie.
It was about as good as Thor and Thor the Dark World.
So they're right there for you.
Yeah.
In at number 6, Captain Phillips.
I need to see that.
It's a fantastic movie.
I enjoyed that film a lot. I really did. Yeah, I did. In at number 5, Prisoners, a film that I actually would like to go see. I would like to see. It is out of the theaters effectively now, and especially after all these films that are coming out here this weekend and Christmas Day, it's going to be gone. But I've heard good stuff about this. Hugh Jackman, Terrence Howard.
That other people.
Yeah, kids being kidnapped.
Persons acting.
Yeah, kids being kidnapped. I've heard good stuff about it. I would like to see it. In at number 4, a film I've never heard of, Before Midnight.
Never seen it.
Anybody?
No.
Nope. I know it's an Ethan Hawke movie.
Oh, that's the one they've done Before
like
Sunrise. Before they do one every 8 or 9 years with him and this same girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, Before Sunrise, After Sunset, Before Midnight is this one.
Wow, that's crazy.
So where are they going to go next?
After midnight? I don't know.
They're going to let it all hang out.
Yeah. I got a great Eric Clapton song waiting for you. In at number 3, The Hunger Games Catching Fire.
Yeah, give it up for Katniss.
In at number 2, Ron Howard's Rush.
That was a good film.
That's a surprise.
That comes out on DVD next month, correct?
January 28th, yeah.
I will be buying it.
There you go.
I enjoyed this film, and not just because I'm a racing fan, because I'm here to tell you, it's not just a racing film. It is about the relationship between the two drivers away from the track as much as it is on the track.
Not a lot of people saw it, but everyone I know who saw it loves it.
Oh, it's a fantastic film. Very underrated, very underrated. In at number 1, they gave it 8.9 stars. Gravity.
Love that movie.
I have to see that still.
Gonna have to see it. It's a good film. Not to mention the fact that kind of like looking at Sandra Bullock. That's just a personal opinion. Ryan, where can we find you online, sir?
Go to Facebook.com/The RPM Show. Film, TV, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, Mr. Ryan, hopefully we'll be able to talk to you Thursday. In the meantime, you have a very Merry Christmas, sir.
You do the same. Thank you for having me on the show. You guys take care and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Indeed. We can find you online as well, David.
Yes, sir, at maladjusted.tv.
All right, you maladjusted person, you. We going to see you the day after Christmas?
I don't know yet.
Hopefully we will. Have a Merry Christmas, would you please,
You
sir?
too.
Jeff, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
You got it, brother.
Running the whole thing.
Yes.
Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to all of you from all of us here at the Entertainment Roundtable for the absentees, Josh, Jacob, and others. Thank you so much for listening. Fastest Hour in Radio. Next.